Oh, it depends on the project. When it's a jazz project, like the album I did with Jeff Neve, for example, there's a lot of improvisation. I think that's what you try to capture is that moment. With my latest album, While You Were Sleeping on Blue Note, it's less about improvisation and more about trying to capture the musician's reaction to the composition in the same way that Miles Davis just brought sheet music to Kind of Blue sessions. It was a very similar thing. So in a way, it's jazz in that sense where, for example, like Chris Bowers would be structuring synth lines based on how we reacted to the music on hearing it and performing it for the first time. But the end result doesn't feel very jazz. Yeah. It was amazing. I mean, that was one of the best studio moments of my life. It was just two artists doing whatever we wanted, not thinking about industry or labels or A&R or anything. It was just total freedom. I mean, it was just for us. It wasn't even for commercial release at first, So it was really magical. Well, you can't get away from it. I mean, I'd love to. I definitely can pinpoint things that are from genres. But some things like the electric guitar, for example, is in a lot of music. Jazz, with someone like Pat Metheny, obviously rock, country, R&B. So for me, it was interesting using the electric guitar because I reference it from a lot of different worlds. And it's been a little frustrating kind of having everyone say, oh, it's just rock, when it's a much bigger for me. Yeah, well, a lot of them were written on the road, or the idea started on the road. Some at sound checks. Like today, sometimes Chris and the band will sit down and start messing around, and I would record it, and sometimes good things would come from that. Other times it's just traveling with the guitar and coming up with ideas. It's very collaborative. There's everybody is helping with the production and a lot of the writing. We brought in some outside writers too, Talia Billig, Becca Stevens, and it's really cool. It feels like more of a cohesive sort of band effort this time. But most of the biggest change for me was the writing on guitar, for sure. I always listen to, on the planes, the Chopin Nocturnes, because it's just very relaxing. Pretty much the farthest thing away from whatever I'm about to do, so I can actually relax and not think about what I'm doing. But actually today, I was listening to my album Before, No Beginning, No End, because I'm writing a book with the photographer Jeanette Beckman. So I was referencing or trying to remember the stories of how it was made. I was saying just about half an hour ago, I think it's one of the best, for sure, in Europe that I've ever played. I really like festivals that feel curated, where there's not a ton of artists. You know what I mean? 20 artists a day, and you feel overwhelmed and you can't see everything. I feel like here it's very clear. The programming is very smart. It makes sense following the night, one artist to another. I also like how younger artists get a spotlight here, where I feel like they don't in a lot of European festivals too. So, or even U.S. festivals. So, yeah, I really admire Gent Jazz Fest.